Hello! Right. There's very little multiple choice today, but don't let that put you off. Take it as a badge of honor when you do well. You can do this. Let's start with an easy one. Question 1. What was Judas's surname? And of course, that was Iscariot. You'll find him in Luke chapter 22. Now, interestingly, I've just finished reading the fictionalized Gospel according to Judas Iscariot by Jeffrey Archer. Certainly goes past dismissing Judas as some evil malcontent and raises some questions about his motivations to consider. Let me know if you've ever come across it yourself. I would love to know your thoughts. Question 2. Now, after Judas's death, who was chosen to replace him as an apostle? And that was Matthias. You'll find his election in Acts chapter 1. Question 3. When Jesus fed the 5,000, which disciple told him about the boy with the 5 loaves and 2 fish? Now in John chapter 6, it was Andrew who came and told Jesus. Question 4. Which disciple did Jesus call when he was counting taxes? And that's the disciple, not Jesus. And that was Matthew, in chapter 9 of Matthew's Gospel. Question 5. Which disciple managed to walk a little way on the water? And that was Peter, in Matthew chapter 14. Question 6. How much money did Jesus tell the disciples to take in exchange for performing miracles? And yes, that was no money at all. He said it in Matthew chapter 10. Question 7. What did Jesus hear the disciples arguing about as they were travelling to Capernaum? And they were arguing about who would be the greatest in heaven, in Mark chapter 9. Question 8. This sculpture is inspired by a description in which book of the Bible? And they are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, conquest, war, famine, and death, found in Revelation chapter 6. Question 9. The disciples were first called Christians in which city? And that was Antioch. You'll find mention in Acts chapter 11. Question 10. Which disciple did Jesus see sitting under a fig tree? And that was Nathanael, also known as Bartholomew. You find him in John chapter 1. Question 11. Something a little bit different. Now in Matthew chapter 5, you'll find a quote which means to be modest about your talents. What is that quote? To something one's something under a bushel. And that's to hide one's light under a bushel being an old name for a bowl. Question 12. The role of these is described in Acts chapter 6, and the qualifications in 1 Timothy chapter 3. But what are they? And they are the deacons. Question 13. Which book of the New Testament begins with the letter G? And sometimes it's really hard to remember. But the answer is Galatians. And please, no arguments about it being a letter. Thank you. Question 14. Who was Jacob about to meet when this struggle occurred? Jacob was about to meet Esau in Genesis 32 when he wrestled an angel. Was he wrestling his conscience before meeting his wronged brother? And question 15. Who am I? I was a Roman centurion in Caesarea. I was committed to worshipping God, and Peter baptized me. My name is Cornelius. You'll find me in Acts chapter 10. So, it wasn't that hard, was it? No. If you want something meatier, have a look at the rest of the channel, where you'll find over 200 quizzes to choose from. But until next time, goodbye, and God bless.